Hello everyone! We're now in chapter 5, page 106, and we're going to explore two new pieces, the Año Nuevo and the Seagull in G. As you can see, both pieces are using the scale patterns of C and G respectively for right hand. We're going to start with Año Nuevo, which starts with the C major scale ascending and descending in the right hand. So before we even practice the piece, we should just review the C major scale for right hand. Instead of starting on the middle C, I'm going to start on the high C, on the treble C, as my piece is written in the treble C position. Let's do that together, and we sing finger numbers. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Going down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. As we have said multiple times, the most important thing in your scales is to move smoothly with your thumb, release the thumb, and follow each one of the fingers until it's time for the thumb to play again. Let me do that in the middle C octave, so to remind everyone one more time so you can see clearly. 1, I release my thumb, I follow 2, I follow 3, now it's time for thumb to play again. 1, going down, crossing over my thumb, making sure that both 3 and 2 are in position, and then I continue. All right, so you can keep practicing this until you feel confident with C major scale. Once you have perfected this, the second step is to explore the rhythm for Año Nuevo. As you can see, I have a common time. You see that C next to the treble clef, treble and bass clefs. This stands for common time, which in music means 4/4. That means I have 4 quarter notes in each measure. I have eighth notes and I have dotted quarter notes. The eighth note takes half a beat, so every eighth note will take half a beat, half of the quarter note, and every dotted quarter note takes 1.5 beat. So my first measure will sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. As you can see, I subdivide my beat into 2 parts, 1 and, 2 and, 3 and, 4 and, because I'm using eighth notes. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. With the same logic, the third measure of my piece that has a dotted quarter note will sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Remember, the dotted quarter note has 1.5 beats, so I'm holding my hand down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You can try the same thing for the whole piece. You can tap that in your lap as you count, or you can sing that as you play. Let's do that since it's the first piece we're doing through the tutorial. Let's actually try to tap that in our lap and count together. This is my right hand, only right hand I'm doing, separate hands now, and I'm counting aloud. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and rest. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. After I have already cleared my mind on how the rhythm is, I'm going to try the same thing on the piano. Right hand alone, and I'm going to sing the rhythm. 1, 2, 3, and go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, rest. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but I actually have to breathe every time I don't have a slur, which means I have to breathe between measures 2 and 3. And then with the same logic, I have to breathe again in the second line between measures 2 and 3. I will do the same hand again, but this time I'm going to sing finger numbers. 1, 2, 3, and go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Rest. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1. 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. And now that I have finished with my finger numbers, I'm going to try again, and this time I'm going to sing the notes. 1, 2, and 3, and go. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, A, G, F, E, D, C, D, E, C, D. Rest. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, A, G, F, G, A, B, C. Now that I have practiced the right hand with 3 different ways, I'm sure you must feel much more confident with it. I'm going to add the expressive markings and the dynamic markings now. As you can see, I start with mezzo forte, which means moderate forte, moderately loud. So it's not a very loud dynamic, but it's definitely not soft. And I'm going to start opening my sound already from the first measure. As you can see, I have a crescendo that leads up to the highest note, and then I start closing my sound with a decrescendo. Continue, we give mezzo forte again for the second phrase. And then again, I start with mezzo forte and I open my sound for the third phrase. But I don't have a decrescendo now, so I'm going to continue with forte. Breathe, last phrase. I know it's not very effective on an electronic piano, but I'm hoping you can explore the dynamics on your own pianos by applying a little more pressure as you ascend, as you do your crescendo, and as you go to a forte dynamic. And again, light pressure, much more light touch on the key when you're decreasing and you're going back to a piano or a mezzo forte dynamic. Now, I'm going to explore my left hand, which starts on the bass C, so it's 2 octaves lower than my right hand. Over here, 2 octaves lower than my middle C, sorry, so 3 octaves lower than my right hand. And basically, I'm using the tonic, the C, the subdominant, the 4, F, the dominant or the 5th, G, and back to C. I have only 3 degree scales: tonic, subdominant, dominant, and tonic. So again, 2 ways of practicing. You can count and say the name of the note, or you can count and say the degree scale. Let's try count and say the name of the note first. C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, rest. C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4. Another way of doing this would be by naming the degree scale, which is tonic, subdominant, dominant. Tonic is the first, subdominant is the 4, dominant is the 5. Tonic 2, 3, 4, subdominant 2, 3, 4, tonic 2, 3, 4, dominant 2, 3, rest. Tonic 2, 3, 4, subdominant 2, 3, 4, dominant 2, 3, 4, tonic 2, 3, 4. And now that I have explored both hands separate, I'm going to put hands together on the piano, counting very, very slowly. Again, make sure you find the correct position for your body and your hands. My belly button is on middle D, right on the 4th C, next to the 4th C of the piano. My right hand is on treble C, and my left hand starts down 2 octaves from middle C on bass C. So I should have 2 whole octaves between my hands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Breathe. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and rest. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Breathe. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm going to try one more time without counting, just so you can hear my sound as clear as you can.